Beard Wizard family? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Beard Wizard Man, also known as Trevor on social media. Links to which you're going to find in that video description below. Including ways to support this channel like clicking that red subscribe button. We have crossed the 70 or 7450 marker. We are 48 away now from 7,500. So very, very close. So be sure to click that red button, subscribe to the channel, like, comment. All of that other stuff helps a lot, but really that 7,500 milestone, that's just the biggest thing in our vision right now. That goal, hitting that goal is so close. I can feel it. So what are we doing today? We are reacting to, again, or continuing our reaction to these tasty barbecue recipes and simple grilling hacks. Just like last time, this is a longer video, and I found with live videos, I can get about 15 to 20 minutes before YouTube's automated thing starts to go, hey, that's another video, and it starts flagging things. Now, you know, normally when you do reactions, everything works out on the back end, but when you do them live like this, the channel will get, the stream will get shut down, it'll get stopped. You know, the video will usually be fine after that, but it'll stop the live stream. So if that starts to happen, I may have to pause it, and we may have to have a part 3 because we didn't quite get halfway through the first time. I also talked a lot about a few of these, and I don't know what we're going to run into in the back half. These may all be simple, silly things that don't require a lot of discussion. We will see. But that is what we're doing today. So if you're in the live stream, say hi. I love talking to you guys. And if you're watching the recording, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And I'm definitely going to have some shorts of this like I did last time. As long as there's some good stuff, some good, funny, informative content, I will make shorts out of this too, like I did last time. But here we are. We are picking back up where we left off. It looks like we're going to wrap puff pastry around an unclean stick. We'll see. We shall see what this is all about. So here we go. Well, that doesn't look anything like it did when he put it on. So yeah, you could do that. I don't know why. They make tools for that. Cooking with sticks is okay. You have to really look at how to prepare the stick and what kind of wood to use. You don't want to just use any stick. So not really that advisable. Yes, you can do that. I wouldn't. I don't know why. If you took prepped, like pre-made biscuits into the woods, you probably took something to make it in too. But if worse came to worse and you're in survival mode and you've got a can of Pillsbury crescent rolls, yeah, you can wrap them around a stick and bake them. It's just kind of gross. Like, there are better ways to do that. And this looks nasty too. That better not be peanut butter. Oh, Nutella. Okay. Ew. That just looks foul. That just looks really gross. So, I imagine, I don't know what we're about to do there. So I've never actually had Nutella. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's like peanut butter, but it's chocolate. No, it's hazelnut, right? It's something like that, or chocolate, hazelnut, or whatever. The problem I would have with doing that is the sugar content. I imagine like peanut butter, Nutella has a pretty high sugar content. You're going to have a lot of caramelization and burning, just like you would when you put sauce on meat too early during the grilling process. Also, I'm not sure about the flavors with beef. I just don't know. But I can't imagine that would come out good at all. I don't. No, if you've tried Nutella on your steaks, let me know. That just doesn't sound good to me, period. And why? What is this? Wait, why did you tear up your patio? What are we doing? we're building a fire pit. No. What are we doing? Okay, you're building a masonry oven of some sort, grilling cement and sand. So it's just cement. This is not a hack. This is like a tutorial on how to build a backyard grill. This is not a hack. What are we doing? Okay, hold on. I don't even know where this is coming to. But first of all, this isn't even... So I'm guessing we're building some sort of cooking apparatus for your backyard. But first of all, you don't tear up your patio to get bricks for your grill. Then what do you do with the hole you just made in your yard? Second of all, if you're building a fire pit like that in your yard, you wouldn't build that on a metal disc or whatever that disc is. You would cut the sod, you would build it, you would level the ground, you would put down sand and gravel, because there's no way that's level just sitting. The only way that's level is because they're doing this in a studio on fake grass. So no, why would you do that? And then why would you stain those boards? I get building this platform or whatever out of pallet wood. That's fine. That was a really nice pallet. Clearly, that is not a pallet that's actually been used for shipping. It has zero damage to it. But you wouldn't stain the boards before you cut the boards. Like, I'm just kind of a hobby carpenter. I mean, I worked as a trim carpenter for a little while, but you don't stain and then cut and build. You're wasting steps, you're wasting time. Also, if you're building out of pallet wood, why do you care enough to sand instead? Like, none of this stuff is logical in this build. You could probably do this a lot better. Like, none of this is right. And it's definitely not a hack. This is taking too long to be a hack of any sort, but let's see where they're going with this. Okay. Building a Swiss log. I mean, this doesn't make life easy. Right? Okay, so we're clearly building like I think it's called a Swiss log. Just, yeah, usually you put more sticks down. Just buy charcoal. No. So all that work to basically build what a Korean barbecue flat top. First of all, that's not a hack. That's a lot of work right there. And you built basically a single purpose fixture for your backyard, which is not going to be comfortable to sit. It is not that is not a comfortable setup. You'd be much better building something like that build it higher and build seating around it, a round or octagonal picnic table type thing with something like that in the middle. But that was a lot of work to make charcoal. And let me just tell you, so you're basically going to have to start those logs early in the day, pre-lunch most likely, or around lunchtime, because those things are designed to burn a long time. So to get enough coals down under your grate at the right time to time cooking, like none of that is easy. None of that is logical. That is not a hack. That is, you're better off if you want something like that again. Bill, you can already see it's not level. It's already falling down on the sides. You're better off building something like that as a permanent structure, doing it right, building it higher, building a table around it if you want to do this, and then just put charcoal under the flat top. You don't need to burn Swiss logs, which again, I think that's what those are called. You don't need to burn those to make charcoal. That's stupid. That's a waste of time. So this is not, it's definitely not a 5-minute hack. This is from 5-Minute Crafts. That's silly. Sorry guys, that's dumb. That's silly. This is most of the video, is watching this guy build this dumb backyard hibachi. Now what are you doing? Stop it. So when your grill is smoking like that, you shouldn't be cooking on it, period. If you open the grill and it's a grill, if you're not smoking meat, if you're smoking meat and your smoke looks like that, you also shouldn't be cooking on it. If you take the lid off your Weber and you're getting that means your coals are either not yet hot enough to cook on, or they're starting to burn out or getting drenched in something that is stopping the combustion. Sure, the swim goggles will keep the smoke out of your eyes, but you shouldn't be cooking at that point anyway. That's just dumb. Like you should not be getting a face full of smoke if you're cooking the right temperature and you're doing everything correctly. So that's just somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. Okay, that's a lot of sauce. Holy crap, that's more sauce than oyster. That looks good. I bet that would work. I've never done it. I bet that would work. That looks good. Okay. All right, what are we doing here? Don't do something stupid. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. This is the first video I've ever seen where they use a ball of aluminum foil to clean the grill. Thank you. So honestly, at the end of grilling, you know, I have a scraper. You can get a wood one, you get a metal one, whatever. You can get a scraper and knock off any of that big stuff that's on the top. Anything that's hanging over the side of the grates doesn't really matter. Your food's not ever going to touch that. But foil works just as well. The difference is when I'm done cooking, I'm not going to take the food inside, get a ball of foil, come back outside, scrape the grill. I'm out there, get the food off the grill. I have a scraper hanging on the side of the grill, and I just knock that stuff off real quick. And then take my food inside. But yes, thank you for actually, like, such a simple grilling hack is the ball of foil to clean. Not a potato, not an onion, not an orange, none of those things. If you don't have a tool to clean your grill, a ball of foil is the perfect thing to clean your grill with. So thank you for having that. This one, I think I know where they're going, and this is about to be gross and stupid, but let's see. Yes, this is gross and stupid. Why would you buy a rake to do this? Why would you buy a rake? Because you don't want a dirty rake. You don't want a rake you've been using all season to get leaves and dirt and bugs and dog poop out of the grass. So why would you'd have to buy a rake to do that? If you're going to go buy something to do that with, then just buy the right tools. They make a tool for that. A rake is such a dumb, and I've seen that before. I've seen it with hot dogs, and I've seen it with marshmallows. That is dumb. That is really a stupid use for a rake. What is this? Sure. Yeah, that works. But, okay, so, yes, in a pinch, you need to get air. That would work just fine. If you have electricity out there, and then you got to get an extension cord and blah, blah, whatever. I don't know what Julie's laughing at something. I don't know what she's laughing at. But that is, like, if you start your grill correctly, so we're going to have another little session here, a little tutorial. Starting your grill, you need a grill chimney, which is, it's a metal tube about this tall, about so big around. It has a handle on the side. It has a grate on the bottom. You need some starter blocks. Preferably, you can use newspaper magazines, but starter blocks are the easiest thing. You can get those at any place that sells like fireplace starters. They come in little boxes of compressed like wood and resin is what they are. You put your coals in the chimney, you put the starter block underneath, you light the starter block, you walk away for about 30 minutes, you come back, and as long as the coals on top are starting to turn white, then you dump it, and you would never have to deal with that problem that this guy was just dealing with. Yes, a blow dryer would work. Again, you go inside, you get your wife's blow dryer, you irritate her because you're taking her blow dryer outside. You have to find an extension cord. Like, sure, that'd work, but it's not the right thing to do anyway. What's next? I think we're making starter blocks. See how many you have to use. So I've tried a few of these. I've tried a few of these different hacks just to test. I tried one where paper, newspaper, all of those things burn fine. The problem is they don't burn long enough, and they don't burn hot enough a lot of times. Also, I've tried the dryer lint stuffed into a toilet paper roll. All of those things, honestly, go to the store, spend $5, buy a package of starter blocks. You don't need very much. And the advantage that those have is they burn longer and they burn hotter because they've got resin in them. And so when you put them under your coals in your chimney, which is the right way to do it, not a pile of coals like that, they burn enough to get everything started. Now, the other problem with putting the starter whatever on top of your coal, so even if you bought starter blocks and did what this guy just did, you're going to run into issues because fire burns up. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but fire goes up. So if you're putting your starter element, whatever it is, on top of your coals and lighting it, sure, it might ignite the coals underneath, but chances are it's not. It's just going to burn up. So you want it underneath. That's why a chimney is great, because the chimney allows you to put the coals on top of the starting element and light it rather than have to dig a hole under there or anything. That was just doing it wrong to begin with, and you don't need the newspaper thing. That won't work very well anyway. Like you may as well just wad up newspaper. Compacting it like that's not going to help in any way. Beer can, no? Chicken, yeah, okay. Yeah, just work. I think that's good. I wouldn't sauce it first time. Okay. Ooh, that's really hot. You're going to have problems with this. You're going to have a lot of problems with this. It's not going to look like that. You're going to have a lot of problems with that. So first of all, I wouldn't sauce it at the beginning. That sauce is going to burn immediately within about 10 minutes. And it's going to take you about 2 hours to cook that chicken. So that sauce is going to be black. Also, that heat, that's a small Weber, and that heat is really close. You can cook a chicken on a Weber just fine. You just want to put the coals off to the sides. You want more indirect heat. 2 to 3 hours usually is what it would take me to cook a whole chicken on the grill. Not, and that's not smoking it. That is literally baking it on a grill. But you want those coals off to the side. Them right under there where the flames are practically touching the bottom of that pan, you're gonna have problems. Though the putting the can of beer, of I think that was ginger ale, whatever, inside the chicken, great, because that's going to evaporate and circulate inside the chicken. That's a good idea. But the way they put it on the grill, no, you wouldn't do that. That would be a horrible idea. I've never seen wild rosemary, so okay. That would probably flavor it, yeah. That would work. The only thing I would worry about there, and here's the thing about smoking. When you burn, like when I talked about the guy with the really white smoke is bothering his eyes. When you see white smoke, that's going to affect your flavor quite a bit. You're going to get very bitter flavors. So when you're cooking with charcoal, a lot of times you want to wait until it's all ignited, because when charcoal is first starting to ignite, it puts off a really sharp, bitter white smoke that we call dirty smoke. And you can cook on that for short periods of time. It's not too bad, but the longer you cook on that, the more that bitter flavor is going to get into whatever you're cooking. And when you throw things that ignite fast, like herbs, leaves, like that's why you don't barbecue with leaves, for example. Leaves burn fast, they burn bitter, and they burn hot, but they burn very fast. The rosemary, you'd probably be better off wetting the rosemary and putting it in something else close to the coals, or putting it on the meat itself, and letting the heat allow the rosemary to, sort of the vapors of its the resins or whatever it's going to put off, things like that. I don't think just burning it straight up in the charcoal is going to actually give you the results you want. I think it's actually going to cause some issues. So I don't think that would work very well. See if we can make it through the whole thing. We've seen this before. I thought we saw this at the beginning. We saw this one at the beginning, I think. Yeah. If they put it in a bun, that's going to be done. Yeah, why? We already saw this one. Alright, move on to the next one. Okay. Where did we lose the sound? Oh no. They just changed it. Yeah, that would work. I don't know why that would be fine. I've cooked bananas on the grill before. That doesn't happen. If that happens to you, you're doing it wrong. That doesn't happen. Yes, that's a solution. That's a solution. Hold on, let me let it... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's let it finish real quick. This is... And I'll tell you why this is not a good solution. Those flames are too high. Way too high. That's why... Okay, so first of all, that happens if you're cooking, the heat's too high. Very clearly, the flame should not be touching the food. You should not have a roaring fire in your grill. That is not how you grill shish kebabs or anything. You should not have, like, 6-inch flames in your grill. That's just wrong. So that's why your skewers might be igniting. The reason soaking them for 10 minutes is a bad idea is if you've ever used those kinds of skewers, which I do all the time, they're very flexible and flimsy. And if you get them wet, they're even more flexible and flimsy, and you're going to run into issues with like splintering, with them just not working. You're going to break them. They're going to bend. It's just going to be a nightmare. Just learn to cook with the proper temperature wood. You should not have flames like that in your grill. And then you wouldn't have that problem. I do shish kebabs multiple times a year. I have never had a skewer catch fire. It just doesn't happen if you're doing it properly. Again, this is a skill issue. Yes, you don't want to cook these on direct heat. Yes, so that again is another skill issue. That is a solution to that skill issue. Raising them, which gives you more indirect heat. But if you were going to cook a bread or biscuits, I've baked on my grill. I've cooked biscuits. I've cooked bread. I've baked bread. All of that on my grill. You want to make sure that your coals are on one side, your breads are on the other. You want them away from the direct heat. You want the heat. You don't want the fire, because that is the carbon is going to build up on the crust of the bread. Is going to ruin it. So, for example, if I do bread on the grill, I did this last year. I think I had a loaf of bread that I was cooking with a steak and vegetables, and on the vegetable basket side, the vegetable basket on the side of the grill without the coals, and the steaks were over on this side of the grill with the coals. I just put the bread on the edge of the vegetable basket, raised up and off to the side. And the bread got warm, it got smoky, it tasted good. That's the way to do bread. So that literally is just, that's a solution to that skill issue. But if he had just moved the coals to the sides, it'd have been fine. So anyway, some good stuff in there, some really silly stuff in there. If you have any questions, any thoughts, ideas around these, or you find any that you'd like me to take a look at that I haven't taken a look at, please let me know. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you guys all again soon. You have a great one. Much love.